Okay.
My game's called The Day of Reckoning. It says £40, which is going to be the actual price of the game. However, in the opening week, I plan on releasing it for £35. In this game is about a character that is living in a world which is similar to the world, our planet Earth. However, it's got fictional cities. What happens is aliens come and try and take over, but they don't just take over; they actually destroy, enslave, and also torture a lot of the characters in the game. There are very few survivors. I've made it so that it's a bit like, because the characters in the game, they can get infected, the people around, so it's a bit like survival, like kind of zombie kind of type of survival. Also, it's not at the same time, it's also adventure and open world. Game engines that I used is Rage, which is a Rockstar game engine. The reason for this is I'm going to add loads of similar aspects as Grand Theft Auto 5, but also other games as well, such as combat styles with weapons from Assassin's Creed, gun weapons, shooting and driving, and free roam from GTA 5. Now for marketing, the main shops that this game will be released is in Game, Grange Games, Asda, Tesco, Morrison's. However, before I release the games, I plan on advertising this game on social networking sites, phone apps, and even apps on television. The reason I plan on releasing this game for £35 on the first week is so that people actually buy it, and after the first week I'm going to put it back up to £40, and that way everyone can find out whether after the people that have already bought it, they can give their review of the game, and I'm hoping that it's a good review and that other people will be buying it.
Okay.
The market audience I went for is 12. The reason for this is because at first I planned on doing it for 16-year-olds, but I didn't want to alienate any of the 14-year-olds and 13-year-olds. It does contain violence, however it's not a gory violence. The different genres in this game would be open world and adventure. The unique selling points. Well, one unique selling point of my game is how it gives you two options. So an example of this is, say you are talking to someone in the game, you have an option of whether to negotiate verbally or whether to attack them, and each choice you choose will have consequences and will determine the different fate of the game, the character in the game. Another unique selling point, which I forgot to mention, is how it has all the different unique selling points from Grand Theft Auto 5, such as the free roam, and also the graphics, also the combat style of Assassin's Creed, and the way you can roll in Assassin's Creed and dodge in combat. The graphics that I use for the game is very similar to Grand Theft Auto 5, which means it's going to be a really high budget game, because it's going to cost a lot to make, because Grand Theft Auto 5 does have HD graphics. Now the visual style that I went for in this game, at first it would seem like this is similar to Grand Theft Auto 5. However, after the aliens have actually came to the place, what would happen is it would be all dark and gloomy, and there'd be an evil atmosphere. So what I've chosen to do is take similar aspects from Batman Arkham City. Yeah, the single player options in this game are really the story mode. I didn't want to complicate it by adding more single player options. Similarly with multiplayer options, is the multiplayer story. What I mean by this is, yes, you and your friend, they can play on the story mode together. However, there will be certain areas where they're not allowed to compete. So say for an example, in the 5th level there will be a part where you have to take out about hundreds and hundreds of enemies, such as zombies. What you could do is you could get your friend to join in with you and help you in that level. However, they won't get any trophies or achievements for this. Yeah, online games. But online I didn't really want to complicate it too much and make it similar to other games such as like COD Zombies or anything like that. I wanted to keep it simple, so I just made it similar to Grand Theft Auto, where you can do races, where you can do missions such as who can get the most kills in certain areas, who can find the most equipment or certain stuff like that. Yeah, well, as you can see, this is the total number of achievements and the number of content that can be unlocked in this game and purchased too. The platforms I'll release this game on is PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 and also PC. The reason I've gone with this and not Xbox One and PlayStation 4 is I want to first release it on these consoles, and if it is a success I plan on creating the game and developing it so that I can match graphics which are needed for Xbox One and PlayStation 3. I've left out consoles such as Nintendo Wii because they won't be graphically able to play. Now these are some of the interface designs before the actual aliens invade. Now as you can see, it looks very similar to Earth. We've got helicopters, buildings, boats. However, this can't be accessed straight away in the game. This is after the game, and you would have to purchase some downloadable content to be able to access this kind of area. However, once you have purchased it, you can free roam in it. Now, these two images are from Batman Arkham City. As you can see, what I've done is I've used a certain equipment that the character will receive later on in the game, which is like a sort of glasses which can highlight different areas such as villains and items. Yeah, this you can't really see it on this projector, but basically these are areas which are guarded by certain higher ranks.
Yeah, I can see the blue highlights, yeah.
So there will be ranks amongst the villains, which as you obviously progress along the game it gets harder. However, I have made this game so that you can't straight away progress into the, let's say, the boss missions. You have to do a certain amount of side missions and unlock other achievements before you can reach these stages. The reason for this is because I didn't want to make it so that you go up against a boss and have unlimited power or hardly any power that wouldn't match. Yeah, these images are just showing some of the gameplay. It shows one of the first missions, the first bosses that your character will be facing. The map on the right hand side is taken from Assassin's Creed. The reason for this is I've gone with a map view which in the red would highlight certain areas that can be controlled by a large amount of the villains. The green would symbolize these generators which you will need to destroy later on in the game to make the last boss not invincible. That's it. Any questions?
Yeah, I'm concerned that you've ignored the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, given that they are the big consoles right now. Can you just explain a little bit more about what your thinking is there?
Alright, when I first started creating this game, Xbox One and PlayStation 4, when I actually got the initial idea, they were still being released, or they'd just been released. And as you know, on PlayStation 4 they don't have that many games out right now. And Xbox One, they do have games, but I actually created it using this, the graphics I use is for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 4, and to put it into the higher platforms I would need to increase and add additional gameplays, because you don't want to play a game which has the same graphics as PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, because as we know, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One is new generation gaming. So what I do plan on doing is, if this game is a success, because as we know there are still a lot of people that still play PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, I plan on I've already got some ideas on